Welcome to today's class. We're going to talk about meeting management. So meeting management is important for the consulting process, given that these meetings not only will help your clients understand what's going on, at the same time, also allow you to gain better insights on how your clients like what's going on and whether they have any additional insight they could share, right? So that's why we want to talk about this. Today, there are two important agenda. First, we'll talk about the purpose of these meetings, and then we'll dive in and discuss the related process that you can use to structure your meeting. So let's get started. So the purpose of the meeting uh, of these during the consulting project usually consists of the following items. First, you want to present information and also the big picture, right? So that way you will be able to manage the expectation from your clients, let them know what's going on, and also acknowledge that uh, you are stay on track and you have collect useful information, and maybe in this meeting you want their feedbacks, or maybe it's the final meeting where you present your recommendations. So uh, the first purpose is informational. Second purpose is for you to really get a better understanding about clients' response of how things are going and your data collection, whether it's your data collection efforts or whether it's your final recommendation of your solutions or recommendations. And third important purpose is that for through this meeting, you want to secure some kind of client commitments. So securing client and commitment is important, especially toward the end of the project, because you want to make sure that clients will be committed to the recommendation you have suggested, so that your effort will not be wasted and their resource will not be wasted as well, right? And finally, these meetings also represent a wonderful opportunity for you to detect any remaining problems, issues, and also allow you an opportunity to resolve it if possible. And who knows, it may turn into an additional consulting project, right? So these are four important items or important purpose for meetings. So the first two steps for managing your meeting is first you want to state the original contract, right? Basically, what you two have agreed upon, their needs, wants, and your promises. Then you want to state the agenda and highlight the structure of the meeting. The objective of these two steps is to help make sure that clients know what's going on, what type of information, what type of meeting this is, and what type of information that they will expect to receive and provide. And usually these two steps only take probably 5% of the whole meeting time. And because if it's hour meetings, you really want to spend about 3 minutes to really highlight the agenda and the purpose of these meetings. And basically, you want to follow the principle, keep it simple, right? So you want to state the purpose of this meeting in a simple, straightforward manner, and also present the meeting agenda in a coherent, logical way. Then the next two steps are present a clear picture and present recommendations. So basically, whether this is the meeting between you and clients during the consulting process or toward the end of the process, it's important to present the overall goal, overall picture of what you have learned from the data you have collected. And then you can move in and discuss what are some potential recommendations that you may have. And this is the opportunity for you to present what you have learned and your analysis recommendations. And usually these two steps take about 15% of the overall meeting times, right? So one thing to know is that the order of these two steps could vary. While some prefer to present overall pictures of their analysis, others may prefer to present recommendation first, then walk through the clients in terms of what type of data have been collected and how these data have been used to support, derive their recommendations. All right. So it really depends on your styles and also depends on the client's your sense of how which type of presentation order the client would prefer. Ultimately, you want to actively manage your client's response. And that's why in the next step, it's perhaps one of the most important step in any type of client consultant meetings. Yes, you want to make sure there are significant amount of time for clients to provide their feedbacks, provide their reaction, right? So this will allow you to understand how the clients feel about your analysis and recommendations and whether there are any resistance or not. And this will also further allow you to better gauge whether they're committed to your analysis and your recommendations. So usually it's highly recommended to simply ask feedback directly. Ask them how they feel about your recommendation. But in the process, you want to make sure not only pay attention to the information they've provided, you also need to pay attention to their feelings, right? So in two of the chapter about additional consulting skill sets, I believe it's chapter 10 and 11, it talk more about how to gauge people's feelings and resistance. Make sure you read this chapter carefully. So, and overall, you also want to manage your own response as well. Sometimes it's very common for you to be defensive, especially when clients start to question your analysis or your recommendation. It's just simply human nature. And you just simply need to be aware that it's also human nature for them to question how you derive your recommendation simply because they are not the one who have spent a significant amount of time analyze the situation. So it's natural for them to question. So don't get as defensive in this when they occur, right? And about halfway in the meetings, basically you want to get additional feedbacks. So you want to see whether your recommendation is helpful for your clients, whether they are getting exactly what they want, right? So this allow you another opportunity to recover from disappointment if needed. That simply means that things happen. The clients may not see eye to eye, may not value your recommendations, and rather to know that after the consulting project, you actually will want to know that immediately. So that way, perhaps there's also some way to address the remaining issues. So one good technique the textbook have suggested is to ask an insurance question, such as, are you getting what you want? And then you can, based on their response, to figure out what would be the best, most appropriate way to whether there are some remaining issue that you can easily resolve. If not, then you need to also think about what addition, well, maybe this will turn into additional another consulting project, or maybe this project need to be prolonged, or simply you have to terminate the relationship if there's no other solutions feasible. So again, based on your client's response, you need to manage this actively. So by asking this type of question, it allows you to preempt potential frustration or disappointment, right? And step number seven is the decision to proceed. Basically, you want to ensure that the clients will be committed to the recommended action or recommended solutions or recommended opportunity for them to pursue. And this also take another majority portion of the meeting duration, usually take about 30%. And you simply will ask what to do so you can anticipate in this decision. Basically, seeking how your clients will respond and whether how they would like to move things forward. And be sure that whenever you help your clients to design the potential action to implement, make sure these items you to discuss should be under their control. So that way they will be able to actually implement these action items. For otherwise, if it's outside of your client's control, it will make it very unlikely for them to implement these actions successfully, right? And also another key things to pay attention to is that you want to focus on the most essential recommendation that directly address the problem. You do not want to pay want to uh, pay attention to less useful recommendation. You only because time is limited and also your client's resource is very limited as well. So you really want to use this time to help them to focus on the most important, the most essential action item that can immediately, in the near future, that will resolve their problems, right? And doesn't matter how they choose or what type of action plan they choose to move forward, always be supportive, right? Because ultimately, these recommendation your clients will need to execute, design, execute, and it's a great responsibility they will need to take. As a consultant, you should be happy to see they are actually moving toward that direction. So your effort is not wasted, nor the client's effort and resource, of course. So be supportive, so that way they will feel comfortable to take on the next steps. And the rest, the action item 8, 9, 10 is for you to basically check for additional concern and also ask yourself if you are getting everything you would like, and finally continue to provide support. The ultimate goal for this is to make sure you close with a positive note. So that way, in the long run, the clients will feel motivated and be willing to take the corresponding actions. And most importantly, in the long run, this could be turn into a long-lasting relationship, right? So for additional information, please make sure to read the rest of this chapter and take a careful look and the additional chapter 10 and chapter 11 that help you to better understand how to deal with resistance, right? That's it for this week. Thanks.